Yeah, we are alive now.
Right. I was already alive, but we are live right now. Okay, so we are live. We are back. Yes. Okay, we're back to the
Uh,
drawing board now.
Actually, the
Yes.
thing is
Yeah.
that
So
these
what?
days the softwares they are not working too well. I mean, many people are
Mm,
using this software. That's why we keep cutting in and out. But I hope so that this time we will not be
yeah.
cutting in and
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Hope
I
so.
hope so.
Yes.
So let's
We can keep the
reconnect
finger.
the.
We can keep the finger crossed. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm saying we can still keep the fingers crossed and just hope that
Yeah,
nothing
yeah, yeah,
happens, nothing
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything goes well. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we expecting anybody to join us live?
Hmm. So let's reconnect the topic from the last point where we
Mm.
left it. We were just discussing about how students can learn English and how they can achieve those success in their career. Sir
Mhm.
Tariq, would you please tell me one thing? I mean, I was just reading one, you can say, one book, and in that book, I came to know that English is nowadays in this era, English is the mean of achieving your destination in today's world. I mean, there are more than you can say 200 languages which are being spoken in many part of the world, if I'm not wrong. So, what do you say? English is the only language which we can use or students can use to achieve their destination, or there are some other possible ways where by which they can achieve their desired success.
Well, Kashif, again, I should say that that depends a lot. You see, English in Pakistan is used or spoken as an official language. So
Hmm.
yes, obviously, in order to excel, in order to get all the success in your life, of course, you have no other options other than that you develop your good language proficiency. That is not the case with all the other countries. For example, let's talk about Japan, let's talk about Germany. We can even talk about like China. Their success is not dependent on developing English language fast because they want to be successful. So well, again, I'll say that really depends. So, like in China, like English is not the official language. All the academics, they all carried out in their own Chinese language, unless they have foreign students coming to China to study, their master's courses and undergraduate courses, for example. Yes, now for them they have this. These options available that they can take the option of studying in English medium, but not in Chinese, because you see, it's not really possible for them to learn Chinese fast because Chinese is a very, very complicated language. And it's not possible
Okay.
like English that you learn English in 3 months, in 6 months. But for Chinese, you might need, you can just imagine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is that nowadays you can see that the China he is playing a. I mean, before this lockdown, he was playing a key role in doing e-commerce, in doing business. If you talk about clothing, I mean the shoes or bags, or I mean in Pakistan we were observing that more than 70% things which people are using today in Pakistan, they have been imported from China, and Chinese people are investing more and more amount in Pakistan. So, I mean, in this scenario, still, most of the students of Pakistan they are not focusing on learning Chinese as a second language. Rather, they are focusing on learning English as a second language. I mean, don't you think we are going on a wrong path, or we are going on the right path that we are learning?
Well, Kashif, still you have to understand one thing. Still, English is spoken in Pakistan as a second language or as an official language.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
fortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, in the future, you see that Chinese language will dominate the world.
Hmm.
So you might need another language to learn for future. But as long as you see that dominance doesn't actually, it does not, occupy the whole world, or maybe just with the boundaries, for example, where we're living in Pakistan, you have to wait till that time. Yes, right now you really need to focus on English, because you see majority of students who want to study like undergraduate or postgraduate programs, they prefer to study in countries like Australia, maybe UK, or
Mm.
maybe the US, maybe New Zealand, okay, or maybe Canada. And now in these countries, you have to be good at English, and to show that you have the appropriate level of language proficiency, they ask you to sit for a test called IELTS, okay, and they ask you to achieve the appropriate band score to show that yes, you have that level of language proficiency to be accepted on the course, which is either the undergraduate or maybe postgraduate program. So if you have that level of language proficiency, which is demonstrated by means of a band score in IELTS, okay, then you're accepted in the course. So for the time being, I should say yes, you cannot run away from the dominance of English that actually is still there, that exists. And you can't escape from that. Yes, in times in future, yes, you can say Chinese might dominate the world, but still, we're not sure. But as we say in English, there is a kind of a phrase we use in English that says that the pigs might fly. Now, pigs usually don't fly, but it is said that pigs might fly, which means that
Mm.
something which is impossible might become possible in coming future. So yes, and I've heard that even in in Karachi University in Karachi, there is a department where they're teaching Chinese language. So I think this is a good start, okay? And then there's one more thing. You see that if you go to Germany, if you go to UK, if you go to France, the students who learn in schools, like primary, secondary, they always have options of learning another language, another international language. So if you speak to, let's say, someone who lives in Britain, for example, he can even speak French or German because this is what they're taught in their schools. So I think it is a good initiative. It is a good initiative by government that they start, teaching Chinese in the schools. Okay, so that when a
Mhm.
student grows up, okay, he knows another international language. Okay, now at the moment we are focusing on regional languages, for example, Sindhi. But just tell me one thing. You see, by the time you graduate, Sindhi doesn't. I'm not actually being um, being discriminated on that point, but the
Yeah.
fact is that it doesn't help you in your future career. But just imagine if you can speak German or French, because this is what was taught to you in your schools initially, in your like primary or secondary school, and by the time you are graduate, you see that you can speak German, and then you might have prospects. Okay, let's say you want to study in Germany, okay, and then you don't need any IELTS for that, as long as you can show that yes, you have right level of language proficiency in German language, maybe at B1, or maybe C1, or maybe B2, and then you can be
Yeah.
accepted in the course to go and study in Germany. And the same formula can be applied if you want to study in France, or maybe China, or maybe let's say, um, let's talk about Japan. Okay, I remember I
Yeah.
had a friend when I was in Singapore, actually, and I was amazed the way he could speak Japanese so fluently. Can you imagine? And he had never been to Japan.
Really?
He, yeah, absolutely, yes. Now the
So
fact is that he learned Japanese. Oh
how is
yeah,
it
no,
possible?
well, actually, he learned Japanese because he was immersed in that particular environment where he was forced to
Okay.
speak Japanese. You see, that's what I'm saying. You see, when you
Okay.
see the students who do a language course here with the center, from a center, for example, still you don't find them that fluent in English. You don't find that they have that kind of English pronunciation. I'm not talking about accents. You see that you
All
can
right.
develop your accent by the passage of time, or with the passage of time, that is not a big issue. But you see that still they're not able to pronounce English correctly. I still remember my teacher used to say in my classroom, keep quiet. Okay. And I would say, excuse me, why would she always say keep quiet? As it should not be keep quiet, it should be keep quiet.
Oh,
You see, there's a different sound in being quiet, which is actually an adjective, and the degree of adverb, which is quiet. Okay, so imagine that somebody tells you keep quiet. You say, "Keep it should not be quiet. It should be quiet." So you see that when you are in that particular environment, let's say if you go and study in the UK, maybe even
Exactly.
let's say for 6 months, you can sound like anybody who's actually from UK, but you
Hmm.
spend around 6 years learning English in your country with less opportunities of being exposed to
Hmm.
the English. You still don't sound like a real English man. So that is the
Yeah.
problem. I hope you understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the thing is that you have, I mean, highlighted the right thing. It's my experience that I have, I mean, I have experienced a lot of students. So when they come in the class and start, I mean, they try to speak English. So first, they spend 1 month as a quiet period. I mean, they never try to speak English. I mean, we need to motivate them, but afterwards, when they get the environment, they get vocabularies, they get structures, or phrasal verbs, tenses, or when they get some knowledge in it in their mind, then they start speaking English a little bit. But let's take some comments from our comment box. Uh, Mr. Jerome is cutting a joke. He's saying, "Human is made by God. Everything else is made in China." Do you agree with this?
Yeah, even you see, there was a joke on that, which says that a guy was crying when his wife died, and she was Chinese. And somebody asked, "Excuse me, why are you crying?" And he said, "Actually, my wife died. We've been just married for 6 months." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Don't worry. Chinese thing don't last for more than a month. Your wife lasts for 6 months. You should be thankful."
Yeah, that's great. Actually, most of the people, they are cutting these jokes because they know very well, if you go in any part of the world, in any country, in any city, you will see some things which are imported from China. The second
Yeah.
comment I have got here from Sir Muhammad Anas Ahmad, he's saying every second country is trying to make their language universal. So where are
Mhm.
we? I mean, we are not making our language universal.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there are lots of factors involved in that thing. First of all, I think our intellectuals, those who are responsible to ensure that we can come back to a situation where Urdu can be imposed as an official language. Unfortunately, there is no such a circle or intellectual circle that can work hard to bring Urdu as an official language. Maybe Urdu can be an official language to be used in institutions, in offices, in government institutions, for example. Let's say having all those documents, a government document that should be in Urdu language, but actually it needs a lot of hard work. You see, it cannot be done like in a matter of like days or months. You need a lot of
Hmm.
struggle, and on the top of that, the most important thing is that you need what we call it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once people are really determined, they're actually ready, that yes, they have to do it. But again, you see, because we have had this dominance
Hmm.
from Britain, okay, because they came to the subcontinent, they dominated the people, for a long time, and
Agreed.
because we
I
were
agree.
annexed, because we were annexed by them. I'll give you an example, like like country like Tunisia. Okay, now Tunisia was annexed by French. Okay, now if you go
Hmm.
to Tunisia, so the second language in Tunisia after their own Arabic language is French. So you will find that
Hmm.
most of the people in Tunisia, they can also speak French very fluently. So I think that's quite a common thing. I mean, like
Okay.
when you are dominated by someone, so you always have a shadow of that thing that stays for a long time, unless you really want to work hard, okay, and show that yes, you exist, your language exists, and you want to use your own language for your own development, and you want to just move ahead. And yeah.
Hmm. I just want to get one more question. I mean, what do you see in future? I mean, in future, the economy of the world will be based on English or not? I mean, in today's world, if we see the websites, like 90% of the website which are dealing in e-commerce, they are made in, you can say, English language. So what do you think in the future, the world economy will be totally based on English language?
Well, I can't predict that thing, to be very honest, because business
This
has
is
nothing to
on the
do
basis
with.
of your experience, on the current
Well,
experience.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
you
I
think?
should say, well, yeah. Well, actually, English has nothing to do with the economy, actually, or with building up the economies of the world. Okay, English is just a it's just a language. Oh, in other words, if
Exactly.
you talk about English in general, English is used as a lingua franca. It's, you can say, it's a common language. Okay, let's say if there is a group of people, 5 or 6, and they belong to different parts of the world, like Germany, France, Japan, and you can just name it. Okay, so one common language that exists with, among those people is English. So language is just a mean of communication. It has nothing to do with the economy. That's it. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you with this. I mean, with this definition that English is just a mean of communication and nothing else like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
मैं अपने तमाम व्यूवर्स से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि अगर आप इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज से रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन करना चाहते हैं, ही इज़ सर हुसैन तारिक एंड ही इज़ फ्रॉम KSA. ही इज़ a certified IELTS teacher and certified CELTA teacher also. तो ये आपकी हेल्प आउट ज़रूर करेंगे. Sir Hussain, now I want to ask the main question of this session. I mean, most of the students, to be very honest with you, most of the students here in Karachi, they want to study abroad. They want to go abroad for study and for job too. So what do you recommend? I mean, should they use English to go there, to get visa, to get a job, to get admission in the university, or should they stay in the same country and give the services to the homeland?
Well, it depends on many factors. The first factor is that if you want to study abroad, okay, the first thing what you have to see is your pocket, how much money you have in your pocket, whether you can afford to study in a university which is in Canada, for example, and that costs a fortune. Okay, so well, if you have enough money, I think you must go and study abroad in one of the best universities in Canada or maybe UK. The second thing is, yes, money is not always the factor. Yes, it's one of the factors. That's true. The other factor is that you have to, as I said earlier, that you have to show that you have, right level of language proficiency, because you're going to study in a country where English is used as a medium of instruction in the universities, isn't it? Now, just
Mm-hmm.
imagine if somebody goes to study in Canada with a very low level of language proficiency for an undergraduate, for a postgraduate program. You can imagine a
Okay.
nightmare that he will have, okay? And by the time he completes his degree and comes back, well, I don't. The first thing, I doubt that whether he will be able to fit in the program that he's going to study there. It will be just like a square pack in a round hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is why you see that the universities, they always demand that whoever is planning to come to study with them in a university, they have to show that they have the right level of English by means of a band score. Okay, so if you're going to study for an undergraduate course, okay, you need to show that you have at least 6 band or 6.5 band, um, at least. But if you want to study for a postgraduate course, then it should be around
Claro.
7 band and beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you show this, okay, that yes, you have that band score, which comes in the form of your DRF. That's called the test report form. Okay, when you take the test, it comes to you from the test center. Okay, and then you send that report form along with your other credentials, your documents to university. Okay, and then they accept you in the course. And then, well, the next step is that you, with all your documents, you go to the visa center. Okay, and then you apply for the visa. Well, that's it.
Mm-hmm. And one thing more, I just want you to add up here. I mean, there are some visa policies behind USA, Canada, Australia. Like you need to achieve 6.5 bands, 7 bands 7.5 bands. You are a certified IELTS teacher. Just briefly, can you explain how is this possible to get more than 6 bands in reading, writing, speaking, and listening? Just give some tips so that the viewers who are watching us, they will come to know some tips to get these bands in IELTS exam.
Well, Kashif, I cannot encompass all the tips in just in this very small session because the tips there's so many tips, and of course, this is why if you go to any center
Hmm.
that offers the IELTS training program,
Uh-huh. Okay,
the
so can
program
we,
usually,
yeah, can we
yeah,
do
the
one
program
session
lasts.
on IELTS?
Well, absolutely no problem. Yes, I'll be more than happy. Yes, but what I'm
Yeah,
saying is that
I mean,
Kashif, what you
you are
have
an
to remember.
experience, so you are an experience
Yeah.
in IELTS, so it would be very good for all of us who are listening, who are watching you, so that I mean, if you share your experience regarding IELTS, so there are lot of students who would like to know about the IELTS too.
Yeah, but Kashif, there is one thing that I should clear here. You see, that it's
Yeah.
not everyone who actually is eligible for IELTS. Okay, now once we have students coming in to us and asking for IELTS preparation, well, the very first thing what I do personally is that I take him to sit for an assessment and to see and to check that whether he is the right person to sit for the exam or not, or to sit for the preparation or not. Okay, now imagine, okay, that you have very low level of language proficiency. Okay, let's say you are at, let's say, A2 or B1, okay, which is somewhere
Hmm.
between
Yeah.
4.5 bands for an IELTS, okay, but you need 7 bands, okay. Now imagine where you are at B1 level and you want to achieve 7 band. Now this is quite impossible. Okay. Now if I am really honest with that student, I will ask him to go back, learn some English, improve English first, and then come back to me, sit for the test one more time. I'll assess him and see whether he has that level of language or not, language proficiency or not, and then I can offer him, the course. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
I
very
really
important that
understand
the
that.
student should be eligible for the course. Okay. Otherwise, even if you accept him on the course, okay, and then you start giving him tuition, okay, start giving him training maybe for a month or so, and he goes and sits for the test and come back with only maybe 5 band or 4.5 band, and by that time you can imagine that he has lost a lot of money.
Hmm. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you're saying that it takes a lot of time to study and to get reading, writing, speaking, and listening bands. Uh, I mean,
No,
if
no, I'm
you,
not saying that. I'm not saying that, Kashyap. I'm saying that, if your assessment is good, for example, if I assess you and in your assessment your level of language is, let's say, B2 and C1, then yes, you can join the course. You can still join the course, okay? And you have bright chances of achieving a 7 band or maybe beyond. Just remember
okay,
one thing, that in IELTS, we don't teach you how to deal with the language. We don't teach you, how to fix the nuts and bolts of English grammar. No, it's not about that.
exactly.
In IELTS, we just prepare you with the techniques, with the skills, with the methods, okay, the
Yeah.
criteria in writing, which are used by examiner to give you a higher band. So we teach you those strategies. We're not teaching you English, actually.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It takes, I mean, we have to really work hard in order to get 7 bands or 7.5 bands in IELTS exam. And I'm hoping and also thinking that we should arrange an online session, an informative online session just for IELTS students. I mean, there are many IELTS students. You are senior than me. You are very experienced in this field. That in Karachi, every month or every year, hundreds of students they apply for IELTS, but due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of information, they are unable to pass the IELTS exam.
Absolutely.
And to be very honest with you, there are many teachers and institutions who are not guiding the students in a right way. So it would be very good for both of us to share
Yeah,
that knowledge with the
because
student.
yeah, because they need your money actually.
Yeah, definitely. So they will not they are not guiding us properly. That's why most of the student, they I mean, they get confused that whether I should join the IELTS language institute or not. So
Yeah.
we will think about it, and just give me your scheduled time when you are free so that we can arrange a session for that. And I hope that it's your class time now.
Absolutely. I'm teaching in 10 minutes now. Unfortunately, we started a bit late, and that's why we're not able to continue even, I mean, like
All right.
more. Okay. But thank you so very much. I hope that that it all went well. Okay. And I'm so thankful for inviting me and have giving me the opportunity to be here with you. And thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's very glad for me to see you here in this online session, and obviously this is just an initiative for those people who would like to learn English, but due to this lockdown, they are unable to go outside and learn English. And I'm very thankful for giving me your precious
Yeah.
time. I know you are very busy in your classes with your students and your own learning as well, but it's very pleasure for me that you have given your precious time to
My
me.
pleasure. My
And
pleasure.
we will be very soon looking you again here on the same platform so that we can share more informative videos for our viewers. Okay.
Okay. So thank you so very much, Kashif. And a very good night. Goodbye.
All right. All right. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, you too. Good day. Bye bye. Good night.